I'm just going to talk a little bit about advocating in the forensic context, and I know that you're all aware of, the boundaries that exist in, in that forensic realm, and how I guess our ability to advocate for clients is sometimes somewhat restricted because we have to work within those boundaries. I can give an example of an occasion where I was able to advocate for a child. The child had made a disclosure of sexual abuse, and this had allegedly occurred at a party where her friends were attending, and it was by another youth at that party. This particular child had experienced quite a lot of bullying all through her childhood, and at the time that of the alleged offence, she was actually going through a period of fairly stable peer relationships. She was a 13, 14-year-old, and we know how important it is for children of that age or young people of that age to have positive peer relationships. So unfortunately, after she gave her statement to the police, those relationships broke down again somewhat because some of her friends were supporting the alleged perpetrator and some of the friends were believing her and wanting to support her. So going to school had become quite a nightmare for her, and there were lots of things happening for her that were causing her a lot of stress and impacting on her mental health well-being. So she contacted me one day to say that the investigating officer had been in touch, and the investigating officer wanted her to give names and addresses for her friends because she needed to go and get statements from those friends. And this child was in quite a heightened state of anxiety around this because she was thinking, oh my goodness, when my friends hear that they're going to have to become involved, they're not wanting to be my friends anymore. I just really can't do this. I want it all to go away. I don't want to do it anymore. If she has to have their phone numbers, I'm not going to proceed. So I was able to get her to come in to see me, and we were able to talk this through a little bit to find out from her what was it specifically that she was worried about. This was a 13 or 14-year-old girl who was really quite articulate, and she was able to say, well, the police have got my mobile phone, they've seen the text, they've got my Facebook messages, they know what these people have said, why do they have to talk to them? So I'm not an investigating officer, and I was able to say to this child, look, I'm assuming because the police are saying they need to talk to these girls, that they do need to talk to the girls. But I think it would probably be helpful maybe if you were able to ask the question of the investigating officer and find out for yourself, why is that information required? Once you've got that information, you'll be in a position where you can make an informed decision about whether or not you want the police to proceed and question your friends. I also made it clear that it's not in my power, or even unfortunately in her power, to say I don't want this matter to proceed. And I explained that once we tell the police about an incident, a criminal offence that's occurred, the police have a responsibility to follow that up. And the reason they have to do that is to make sure that the community remains safe. And she was able to understand that. She really wanted to have that opportunity to talk to the investigating officer. We were really fortunate. The investigating officer was willing and able to come down to the Child Advocacy Centre and meet with this young girl. And the child was able to talk about all her concerns, ask the questions about why do you need this information, and why can't you use the information you've got, and why do you have to do it this way, and the investigating officer was able to sit with her and go through all of that with her, and even said to her, look, I know this is really difficult for you, and if at any time you think you don't want to proceed, you need to tell me, and we'll do what we can to stop the process. And I think having heard that, having felt that she was heard, that her concerns were acknowledged, she was able then to say, well, okay, you can go. These are the addresses you need. You know, you can go and talk to them. And so that matter did proceed. It wasn't the only time that the child got to talk to the investigating officer, because the investigating officer had set it up that if at any other time you have concerns, you want to talk to me about it, we can do that. And so the investigating officer ended up having probably 3 or 4 meetings with this young girl, sometimes with myself, sometimes later on after charges were laid. The investigating officer and the child witness preparation officer both met with the child as well. So throughout that process, this particular child, I think, always felt that she was able to have a say in the process, and that was very empowering for her. And she always felt that people were hearing what she had to say, and that was really important. I think that perhaps had that child not had the opportunity at that point to talk to the investigating officer, that matter probably would never have proceeded. And the child would have gone away feeling angry that she hadn't been heard, but also angry that that she'd started a process that hadn't been completed for reasons that she didn't really even understand.